What is going on, guys? My name is Pags. It is part of my last name or a nickname, but weird saying it. You know, most of the time I've seldomly introduced myself as Pags. It's been a nickname since I was a young lad, and it has followed me for many years. I thought I'd grow out of it, but it's stuck. It is stuck. But yeah, so welcome to the YouTube channel. This is the first kind of video that I'm uploading, and aiming to make this kind of a regular deal. Not sure the style of videos I'm going to be making yet, so I'm just kind of shooting from the hip, y'all. But basically, the whole thing is going to be just software engineering. I've gone through a lot of life events recently. One being laid off from a enterprise level software engineering position, which great company, and I only have great things to say about them. They treated me really well, and it was just an unforeseen business event that unfortunately happened. But you know, I still have an amazing relationship with them, and yeah. So I don't want to spend too much time. Maybe I'll chat with CJ. He's the VP of operations over there. Kind of when it's maybe an appropriate time, if ever it's an appropriate time to maybe share that story. But yeah, so the point of this channel is I want a creative outlet where I can just do software engineering builds, show you guys how to build stuff, and share the knowledge. So I don't know exactly what the theme of stuff will be, like maybe like open podcast style, kind of like how this is, where I'm just rambling on a mic, showing you some software engineering project. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe there'll be kind of different sections. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm doing my best. But I did want to start talking about the software engineering course that I began building out of kind of this time I've been able to have. I've got some other things in the works right now, but this is certainly one of the things that's in the works, and I've enjoyed building it. I've got 2 students so far, and I think I want to set kind of an aggressive goal of getting my first 1,000 students. I've got 2 so far. Might be getting my 3rd soon. But basically, it's a software engineering program where I want to share all of the experience that I got at this enterprise company, where we're learning about stuff beyond just kind of, I know some YouTube tutorials are just like, here's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is awesome, and hopefully one day I could definitely build some courses for those things. But I do want to share kind of like what I got to see, a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes of an enterprise company, and talk about, you know, software architectures, and I still have so much to learn. There's no denial of that, but I did learn a lot, you know, being part of an enterprise team, and I have an immense amount of gratitude for the team and just all the tricks and little things that I learned about writing contracts for the back end, front end communication, learning about Swagger Hub, learning about a lot of things, certain state management techniques, certain front end repository techniques. There's just a lot. There's so much I've learned, and I could see it in my skill set now, where I'm like really trying to build. Sorry guys, I know this is coming off salesy, because it's definitely a hard sale of being like, people, I want you to join my program, because that is what I'm saying. But the other side is, it's like, it's because it's golden knowledge that I want to ultimately build up and share, where hopefully I can curate these blossoming software engineers, where if you're kind of this introductory software engineer and you're like, dude, how do I get my first enterprise role, or how do I get to that level, if maybe you've been doing it for like 1 to 3 years, or maybe less than that, maybe 6 months or a couple months, and building something of substance, or learning about this material in an in-depth way, You know, where I would talk about data-driven development and a whole bunch of stuff. But this is kind of an application I just want to run through, I guess, while I have it. Maybe we'll build something. Would I like to update ZSH? Nope, not right now. But this is like a project that I'm working on with another company. I don't know how much of it I could show because I've signed an NDA, of course. So I've got it pulled up on my other monitor over here. But I do want to talk about the ideas that I've pulled from it. Maybe actually, yeah, instead of diving into this project, because I did sign an NDA, I don't want to share too much of it right now. Let's not do that. But I will share something like cool loaders or just really awesome front-end design. That's as much as I'll show of that real quick. Let's now get that off the screen and we get the back end running on this project and we'll get the front end running. I forget what the React Auth project is. I think it's me just running through an idea of authentication on the front end. Yeah, looks like it. Looks like so. Yeah, so get some Nylas. Let's just go ahead and I guess build, just freestyle kind of a little video here. Yeah, point being is I've seen a lot of cool software engineering channels and they do it really, really awesome and really well. And it seems like a fun thing to build. So that's kind of going to be my goal of this channel. I've got other channels, other creative outlets I've done. I've built music. I've got a music catalog. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but I want to kind of build a channel and a thing about software and maybe 1,000 students is an aggressive goal. Maybe it's not an aggressive goal, but I've had some ideas on like some really, really, really interesting stuff around life and in a thing I want to document is going to be these interesting ideas, and I don't want to disclose them yet because they're certainly interesting and fun. And I just want to get started and start building these things and start doing them. So I think this is kind of my best way of doing it is just recording it, freestyling it. Sometimes I'll build software with buddies, and we'll stay up till whatever hour and. We'll talk about a ton of stuff, and it'll be awesome. There's. Let me just kind of build a new project here because this is. This one is. Let's see. Let me just build a front end repo over here real quick. Let's just see what we can curate real quick. npx create React app. See if I remember how to use React. I've been using Vue a ton. So while this is loading, I'll just kind of narrate a little bit more of what I want. Is just to kind of build stuff. And I wish now that I'm a little bit older, I'm still young, but I'm 28 and I've lived some interesting life. I've lost a ton of money in crypto. I've had deals go bad. I've moved different states. I've had really awesome opportunities. A lot of life events and both good and bad. Like on both sides, I've sold out shows with music. I'll definitely talk about that on this journey and what it was like being on the stage side of things and how nervous I was. But point being is like, I just wish I recorded more of it, like some way, somehow. I just wish I recorded more of it. Even if it was like some horrible phone format like this, where I'm just talking over a software, screen or something. I just wish I like documented more of my life. I did a little bit on Instagram, I guess, but I wish I had more of like the highs and the lows of just talking about how nervous I was for certain things or how excited I was. Even like the interviewing process for getting my my enterprise position at this company was its own thing. Like it was a whole debacle. Okay, we got an app fired up. Let me just go ahead and build something. Let's see if we got this thing working. We do. Great. Let me just delete some of these folders, clean this up a bit, not folders, excuse me, but files. But point being, I think it would just be a beautiful journey to talk about, and this is just I guess the easiest free flowing way I can think of doing it is just get a microphone ready, start screen recording, and just start talking and building stuff, and just kind of chop it up a bit. So yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do more of, is just document this and use this as an opportunity to talk about my life, because why not, right? So, but enough of the meta life stuff. Let's also build something. Let's plan a little build, guys. I know this is pre-recorded, but I'm talking as if someone's present, right? Because that's important. I'll get better at the YouTube thing. I promise. Okay, so right now I'm just downloading Tailwind into this. So we got Tailwind CSS. Add these directives to the Tailwind index CSS file. Go ahead and do so. Okay, looks like I should have Tailwind installed. Let's see. Okay, what's an idea of something we can build, or I can build really quickly? Let me think. So I'm competent in React. That's what I actually started with, but at least out of JavaScript frameworks. But I'm much more talented at Vue, I would say now, which is kind of ironical, because when I first started producing Vue, or developing a Vue, I was not a fan of it. Gotta be honest. I was like, gosh, it's not React. But that's how it goes. I guess, is you challenge yourself and figure it all out. God, okay. Let me maybe ask ChatGPT for a good idea to build. Let's see what ChatGPT. Do I have a ChatGPT pulled up on one of these screens? Okay. Gotta log in. Yeah, so I'm still figuring out this fourth wall thing, if y'all haven't figured out. But point being is, I'm gonna figure it out at some point. Just bear with me. It's gonna be bad at first. Okay, so ChatGPT, side note, has completely freaked me out the last 3 months, because it's good. It's also bad at other things, but it's pretty good. So, but I need simple but creative software. Or how about this? Can you write a few simple but creative software applications I can quickly build? Let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. Recipe Finder. This application could make use of a food API such as Spinacular or Edamame, where the user's inputs can enter dietary restrictions, preferred cuisine, ingredients on hand, and the application would suggest a recipe. We got a weather planner, a quiz app, a book tracker, a mood tracker. Ooh. The other thing I'll probably quickly realize is I'm a bit of a weirdo, but that's all right. Okay, we got virtual plant care as well, travel planner, and I don't know if I like these. Virtual plant care, an app that reminds the users when to water their plants. Maybe that'd be kind of cool. This could be all right. That's kind of the most interesting of the few. Virtual plant care. I don't think I've ever heard of that. So that's what ChatGPT did, and I'm going to use something else as well, and I'll bring it on screen because I didn't have ChatGPT on screen. I'm going to use this thing called UIZerd.io. Such an interesting application because you can literally get designs. If anybody knows anything about UI UX, I like such a tedious process. Shout out to the UI UX guys because that is such a process that this is awesome. This is basically a UI UX where it'll build out the entire application, or at least a rough draft of it. And it takes off all of that UI load where I don't have to build like UI UX stuff, because that is just kind of, it's tedious and it's kind of a pain, you know what I mean? Like it's you're dealing with all these other tiny things that you're like adjusting buttons and pixel sizes and color palettes, and I can definitely do it. But I'm very impressed by the people who really can do it really well. But it's just like I love this thing that I can just not have to design too much anymore, because I could sit there for hours just like, should I use 80 pixel rounded or like 48 pixel rounded corners? So the fact that this UIZerd, I would highly recommend it. I'm obviously not sponsored. I'm a tiny YouTube channel at this moment. Wink, wink. A little bit of foresight in my life. Come back 2045, there'll be 1 billion followers. Watch that actually happen. That'd be funny. That'd be wild. But yeah, so I'm just a tiny YouTube channel. This is not a sponsor or something. But if they do want to sponsor me, what's going on, guys? What's going on, UIZerd? Let's see. So it built out some of these screens. Let's check it out. It's kind of going with this dark red theme. I think this is from something I built with the guys last night. Let's see. Let's check it out. So you got this like login screen, I guess, or this start screen, which I really dig, actually. I think it looks great and great graphics. AI is just so powerful. I love how people are using it. So we got these like plant care things. And it looks like there's like a info thing where you can get plant care tips, watering schedules, and then I'm not sure what this is. This looks like some sort of filtering thing for finding plant care tips. So this is like a library of tips, I guess. And this is like so these seem redundant, I guess, to me. Maybe I'll just make this screen. So I'll go this one maybe, and this one. Well, there's a lot to build here, but let's just go ahead and get cracking, I guess. I lied. I'm not going to do it in React because React is not my strongest right now, and I'm going to pop over to Nuxt. I love it. But that's such a bad thing to do. All right, guys, you got me. I'll do it in React. I'll do it in our folder because that's what we said we'll do, or what I said I'll do. But for the sake of you guys watching, that's what we said we'll do. All right, so I've got kind of 3 screens here. I've got a monitor vertical like this way, and then I've got bumped the mic, and then I've got a monitor this way, and then I've got my laptop, which the camera is leaning on. It's just my iPhone leaning on. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show you guys. It's this screen again, and I'm gonna try to build this on here. So let's go ahead and try to build. Let's see, I'm still figuring out how to use this. If there's like an export, because I do need these little like logos and all that stuff. I know in Figma you can literally just download these like images and stuff. So create template from selection. Is this it? Say icon. Let's see. Still using this thing. Oh, image right here. Is this not it? No. See, this is like real software engineering. Like the course is really distilled and refined to like these beautiful moments that I've thought out and planned out. But this is like actually what partially happens sometimes is you're having to just figure out tiny things like this that are just silly, that I'm sure I could Google in a second and it would tell me. Okay, settings. Let's see. Am I missing? So I feel like it should just be right here. No. Lock component, unlock component, add new screen, move forward, move backwards, copy. If not, I can always do the old screenshot remove background thing, which I might do if we can't figure it out here in a short amount of time. Let's see. Group, file. No, that's to upload it. I want to pull the file. Wow, that's cool. This is a really good web design. Genuinely, that wasn't sarcasm. I realized that could have came off as both. Outside of the minor, how do I download stuff? I would genuinely say this is very good web design. Okay, but missing editing, handoff. Image, here we go, export image. That's all I needed. There we go, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my SRC folder. I'm gonna make an assets folder and we're gonna put our icons or images in a folder. And let's go ahead and start getting them over there. Really, I should have exported as an SVG, but they don't have SVGs, it looks like. What if I can just copy the CSS? No, I'll just not. Okay. So really it should be SVGs, but I'll figure that out kind of, by the time, I don't know, by the time I figure it out is what I'll figure it out. But SVGs, they're called scalar vector graphics, and you should use them because they're much more lightweight and much more versatile when dealing with like smaller. If it's like a really high def image, then don't. But let's say plant icon PNG. What is this? So plant image.png. Okay. All right, that looks like about all we'll need. Source sans prose for the text. Great. Okay, so kind of freestyling at this point, as you can obviously tell, but yeah, I want to just kind of have these builds of no pressure, at least some of them, right? Where maybe I'll have like scaled out builds, but I do want more of this like free flowing kind of authentic software engineering process, and I'm having to narrate it and build software, so it's a using my brain 100% to narrate and build software ideas on the fly. But I'll get better at it as I go on, obviously. So let's think about this. What do I need? We need a few divs. I'll say left side, and we need the right side. Okay, and again, so let me pull up our design. I pulled it up here. I don't need it up here anymore, guys. I'm gonna drag it onto my other screen. Actually, I'll drag it over here. Okay, so basically we have like this like black background for the entire project, and then we have kind of like a left side just for the introduction screen, and then a right side for the right screen. We have a button there, and I'm just trying to plan it out real quick mentally. So I want to build a button. I want to kind of build this card component that looks like, and it all makes sense. Why? Because if you build the smallest things first, I learned this from one of the engineers I used to work with, very talented guy, but you build the smallest things on the project up, because all the tiny things you can then construct the larger pages, or speaking of pages, we need to build a pages folder, but you can then construct all of the pages and things you need from all the tiny, I didn't want to use the IntelliSense there, but from all the tiny components. So that's kind of the name of the game here. Is I want to build a button. This button is going to take a text value as props. Maybe what else? Maybe I'll have some state. Maybe not right now. We'll leave it. Okay, so, and I know this is my app folder. I'm going to move it all to another page folder. Actually, let's just go ahead and do that now so I don't have to do more work. I'll say home page.jsx, and I'm probably not going to use React Router DOM, to be honest. I'm going to do it another way because this is just an on-the-fly build, and I don't want to use a ton of React, Redux stuff. Not right now. I need to get recompetent in it, guys, to be honest. So I'm going to do it another way. But I will have builds on React Router DOM and all that stuff in a sec. But not right now, not today. This is just in the moment, on the spot. See what we got. I'm going to keep saying that. In the moment, on the spot, see what we got. Okay, so we also have a wrapper around the whole application, it looks like, where the application is going to be laid out kind of properly, it looks like. What I'm looking at is like the padding, and we have like different layouts. So we have like an in-application layout where we have a sidebar on the side, and then we have like a home page layout where there is no sidebar. So, and then it looks like this has a different sidebar or some sort of upper bar as well. So these are things we want to look at as a bird's eye view kind of early on before building the application. It's just like, gosh, this could be a really big build, actually really quick. So yeah, maybe I won't do the layouts quite yet. We'll do that down the road because I meant to make this like a 20-minute video, but here I'm looking at the clock and it's like 27 minutes or something like that. So yeah, I'll just build the homepage then and see what else we can do. Maybe if we do some layouts or whatever. Okay, so homepage, we're back here. We got the base button. We have a text value in the base button. I'm going to import base button into the home page, and we can say text value equals here. So these are the props being passed into the base button, and the base button's being passed the props. And the reason why I did it is because I can make a ton of little buttons. New button here, and I just have to pass in the props. And if I ever need to change the buttons, I can just go to the base button, and they will all be changed. So that's why I did it that way. Let's see, background red 500 looks like it kind of make it the exact red it is. But that's roughly why I did it that way. PY, let's go bigger, PX. PY3 rounded 80 pixels. The irony of what I just said earlier. Text white. Okay, great. So now we have a decent looking button, right? Not horrible. I wonder if this says all the style stuff. It has to. I'm sure it has to, right? It's a beautiful UI thing. Let's see the handoff with, where does it have line height? Font weight 500. So it gives me all of the CSS, but I wish it gave me it in Tailwind. It would be awesome. It'd be so cool. So we got width, padding, height 48 pixels. Let's see, we'll get it pretty exact here, and that's an important part of front-end engineering is gotta be good. Gotta be good. I'm wildly average, you know what I mean? All right, so we'll get a little transition, hover, opacity, 50. Boom, look at that. We got ourselves a little button, guys. Okay, I'll say active scale, and we'll say 90. So when I click it, you can see it be clicked. And I'm gonna make the opacity 100 when I click it as well, because just want it to be hover, click, click. You can see it be clicked. Okay, sweet, sweet. Guys, we got a button. That's the first component, done. I guess the only thing I would maybe pass in is maybe a function, like an on-click function that I could pass in. So and the reason for this, again, is like, now I have a button with an on-click function, and I can just pass the function in from the parent element and use a different function for every button I'm trying to press or use, right? So how do I make this make sense? So I can say function count up. So this way the button is really reusable, right? Let's do a little demonstration of this while we're in the heat of the moment. So I'm going to import some state from React. We'll say count. This will be count 1. We'll say set count 1 equals use state, and we'll start on 0, and then we'll have set count 2. I don't know what my error is. We'll figure that out in a hot GIF. Set count 2. I think it's just because I haven't passed in a thing yet to on-click function, but we'll do that in a sec. So do count 1 plus equals 1, and that'll be count up count 1, and we'll have count 2. So the reason why I'm doing this is so I could show you hopefully the idea that we'll have buttons, and I think in order to pass it in I actually have to go like this. I think we'll double check in a hot sec. So I can pass in buttons and have them use like different functions. So the button's not associated with one function. The button's just this like placeholder bare bones element thing that I'm now passing text in. So I'll say counter for count 1, right? That'll, well, we don't have enough space there. So I'll say count 1 on this button and count 2 for the second button. And the point is I can now reuse this component instead of having to build all of this nasty code, which isn't a ton of code, but like it's a lot cleaner for this than to have 2 of these buttons right here, right? So this is a lot cleaner, and this is why people use JavaScript libraries and front-end frameworks, so you can easily maintain code or look at, well, before I get ahead of myself, let's just make sure these things work. But the point is it just cleans up the code a lot. So we have count 1 right here, and we'll put count 2 right here. Let's see if it works. So if I press count 1, in theory, haven't tested anything yet, guys, but in theory, if I'm passing in text values and function values for this button over here, it should not touch this button over here. And we have 2 pieces of state in the parent function, so technically these buttons are emitting something up to the parents. It's done differently in Vue, but let's see if it works. Great, it doesn't work. So all of that hype for it not working. Let's figure out why it's not working. Console log, we're clicking. It's ironical, all of that, and we are not working. On-click function is not defined. So on-click function, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. We're gonna use our trusty old intern, aka ChatGPT. You fixed this. I am trying to use a button and pass in different functions as needed. Boom, and throw out the code. Let's see. So I do think, maybe I need to just arrow function this, maybe, potentially. Let's see. No, okay. On-click function, but there's a typo in your props. Funky ton. Okay, Okay, didn't see that, didn't catch that earlier. My fault, my fault. Let's pop that in there. And it says from the parent value just to do roughly what I did, which was, this is what it says in ChatGPT, click, where, okay, let's see if it works. I'm gonna pull up the console. I don't know what happened to my console Ninja. I was using it the other day and it just stopped working, which is kind of unfortunate. I'll have to figure that out, but it's saying to do this and it's not working. Click to, okay, Oh, there it goes. And Console Ninja is working. Great. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so in theory, that's how it was supposed to work. As you have these separate buttons. Let's see. Let's get it working though. Button click 2. We'll say button clicked 1. Say click me 1 and click me 2. So button click 1 should have its own function, own text for button click 1, and button click 2 should have its own function, own text for button click 2. Now let's pass in these functions and let's get this thing working. Let's get this thing working. Okay, so count 2. Let's see. Do I just need to invoke it? Is that all? No. Okay. What about this? No. What about this? No. Assign it to variable. I really don't understand why it's not working. Let's see. Let's see. Can you make this work? Boom. So in Vue, you have things called emitters, and in Vue, it's really fun because you just say define emits, and you define your emit like button click. And I think React has a library for this. I'll have to look into it. But in Vue, you would then go to your parent component and say add button click, and every time this button is clicked, it just fires off the function. And I'll definitely have portions on Vue because I do enjoy Vue as a framework. I think it's really underrated. When I first used it, I didn't realize it was as powerful as it was. But let's get this out of there. Okay, it's saying I have to do an arrow function up here, which is saying, oh, you know what? That's why. My bad, guys. My bad. My bad. My freaking bad. Oh, that's rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. Okay, so now this should, in theory, work, right? Count up 2. Okay, boom, boom. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so count up. Sorry, that was a huge runaround for count up, count 1, and I'll put count 1 right here. So every time I click this button, it'll affect a different program, like a different part of memory on the DOM than button 2, because we have 2 different functions, and they're getting passed into the same button. Button component, but they're being used differently on the parent. That's what I wanted to briefly show for this example was, you know, and whether you wanted this to be like change Boolean value for this, like set true, like toggle bool, right? Maybe this is like some Boolean value and you have false. Ooh. So maybe it's not 2 counters. You got toggle val. I guess you wouldn't really need to make a whole different function for it. You could just probably pop it in there just like that. Oh, just bool is all we wanted here. And button count up 2 no longer works because there's no count up 2. Count 2 is not defined because it doesn't exist anymore. So you could use this for like popping open a menu, right? Some sort of true, false value, true, false, right? Like you can use this button now to just be an action holder and a text holder for the entire application. And let's say you want to change, right? Like, I don't know, you talk with your UI UX guy and he's like, actually it's a button shade of, you know, some hex value that you wanted to change. But now instead of having to change every single button across your entire application, you just go to your component, boom, bada bing, you're in there like chicken wing, you know, boom, change all the buttons on your entire application, just like that. So and really what you should do is build a Tailwind file, which I did do in the other project. I'll chat with the owner to see if I can run through that project, or respectfully, I'll do it so, you know, it's just not a weird thing. But there's a lot of nuance and builds to good repositories and good front ends. But anyway, let's get back to our plant application. Now we got a cool little button and it's working freaking sweet, you know, freaking sweet. It's a whole bunch of work for nothing, but we got it. That's the important part. Pull up the design again. So what is it says start learning is actually what? What does it say start learning? It's really tiny text. Start caring. Nice. I'm gonna say white space, no wrap, so it's all flat line, so it's not stacking up on top of each other like that. Okay, and this is actually gonna be kind of our right side component. So let's build out maybe some of the feeling of this application. So I'm gonna get the hex value real quick. I'll show you guys how to do that easily. I'm sure you can probably click this in UiZerd or something. I'm sure it gives you the background value, but I always use these eyedroppers or some sort of Chrome extension to get the color. And I just, boom, pop it in right here, steal the hex value, pop it in Tailwind, and boom, bada bing, got yourself a little application. But this needs to actually go into here, and I'm going to say height screen width full, of course, and boom. So that's the background for our entire application. I'm going to pop back into the home page where I don't need this background, but I do need the flex because we're going to have kind of a left little card and then a right side as well. So this will be the card, and this is going to be the right side. I'm going to make all the text naturally white. Really, you shouldn't use jet black or pure white. I think it's an ugly thing to do for design. I think a UI person would probably tell you that. Let's see. Color is just pure white though over here. So, but I would recommend kind of doing like an off-white or F5, 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 right? Where it's like not pure black. You don't use 000. You don't use pure white, right? It's one of those things. It's just one of those things. So let's go ahead and build this card. We'll say width full. Should also be full. We'll flex, justify, center, items, center, flex call for the individual left and right side. We want the flex columns, but we have these giant Lego. Here, I'll kind of show how I'm organizing this. So the two cards need to be left and right, but the cards with the content within them needs to be column style. So, because we're gonna have a button, we're gonna have a header, and we're gonna have an image, like some sort of icon here. Let me go ahead and just import that now. Import, what was it? Flower icon, right? Flower icon. From components, nope, not components. From, what is it? No, we're in pages, so we're going up and we're going into assets and images and plant icon, right? Boom, look at that, we pulled her in. Let's say flower icon or plant icon, same. But I do actually like to have consistent names, so we'll say plant icon. That's one thing that irritates me, irritates my soul, is when, got a little pop up here, sorry. But it is genuinely something that irritates me when engineers will have like they'll pass props, they'll like call the prop text value, or they'll like call the icon plant like family icon, right? And then they name it something else entirely, and then they name this, you know, like something else, and then when you like, it shouldn't be that way. It should all be the same. It should all be the same. If you call it plant icon, like even the spelling, to be honest, should be the same. But you know what I mean. Tiny things, I guess, don't matter, but it really should all be the same from like literally the back end inside the database all the way to the front end. It should all be the same word. The reason for that is every time you change the word through each pass down prop or pull from the database or query from the back end or something, it just adds that much more complexity every single time. It irritates my soul. You know, it's probably not the biggest thing in the world for a lot of engineers, but for this one, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Irritates my soul. Okay, let's make this a little bit smaller. So we have a header that says plant care, it looks like. Plant care. Oh, you know what I could do? Genius moment, right? Or maybe not. But I'm taking this text value in CSS and I'm just gonna pop it into, so I just copied it from the thing. Going to ChatGPT, can you make this in Tailwind? Boom. Why do all the heavy lifting ourselves, folks? You know what I mean? Come on. Boom. And this is what it just gave. Ready? Boom. Come on. Who's doing this? Who's doing this? Easy peasy, folks. All right, so we got take care of your plants. I'll do it to this one too. Oop, okay. You do this one too. Boom. Let's see. So then I need a little bit of margin between these things. Not sure how much. Not sure how much. Oh, it's also saying to go into my Tailwind config and let's see. Track and care for your plants. Figma, it's so easy. You just literally for your plants, boom. In Figma, you can just copy paste. It's so nice for stealing text values. I will say it is very nice for that. But say Figma, we're rolling with what we got. So we kind of got the right side a little bit figured out. We kind of got the left side looking good on the home screen so far. But the right side, the left side, we need to put that card in there. So I think I'm going to build a card component. Let me just check the rest of the file, and I'm going to pull this back over so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This would be like the card component, like just the charcoal kind of dark gray thing. because I'm seeing it kind of reoccurring where there's like a card here, I guess, where I could use it again. Maybe these guys are all little card components too, but maybe I would not use them. Maybe they'd be their own components. But the idea is, you know, like little things like bookmarks, little saves, little buttons, obviously. As many things as you can componentize that are reused, if something's used more than once, it's a good idea to maybe consider it as a component, right? To build it out, because then you're just shaving off time that you don't have to rebuild stuff. If you need to maintain it, it's easy to do. So like input fields, right? You can make those a component. Let's see. Like this would be a card component, but maybe not. I'm not really seeing it too often, so maybe I'll just use it as just this. Yeah, I think so. I think that's fine for this one because it's actually not used very often. But let's see. So we're gonna go background red. Why is it not taking up the full space? Is what I want to know. What I want to know. Because it's not flexed. So I want these to be the same, even size on both sides. Okay, great. So the application itself is not taking up the full space, I don't think. There we go. Nope, already got that in there. Great. Okay, so that's what I wanted, was more this side-by-side thing. Let me go min height screen. Boom, folks, we are doing the do. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. Okay, but I'm gonna make this image a little bit smaller. It's pretty big. Boom. Right? Looking at this. Come on, we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. We're getting there. Figma's so nice because you get like all the exact values from, like you can measure how far something is from the next component. So you could literally just say margin like 48 pixels. It'll tell you. Here I have to measure it like the old days, about 48 pixels. Which is ironic. Just said that, but so I could say margin top, let's say 12, right? 48 pixels. Why is it not? Oh, maybe I need Tailwind merge for that, but I could do margin bottom 12. That'll work too. That's fine. I don't need to be too picky on the pixels. I think that will waste more time that we don't have. Okay, so let me get this fill color though. I'm going to steal that over here. Boom. Might have to figure out more about this UI Zerd. I'm sure all of these things are available, and I'm just like, oh, it's not doing this like Tailwind does, or this application does, but I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. I bet those guys thought it all through. So I'm going to go rounded 2XL. Let's see what that does for the corners. Nice. We're getting there. We go flex, justify center. Oh, we've already got a flex on there, so it's throwing a little error. Items center, and we're going to say import plant image from assets plant image. Great. Oop. Wait, does this work in React like this? No, No, you do have to put it in curlies, right? Okay, great. So boom, our plant image is there. And if we don't take account for mobile design or responsive design, we built the freaking landing page, which is pretty dope, guys. I think that took maybe, what time are we at? 55 minutes, maybe 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, something like that. 20 minutes maybe, not too bad, not too bad. Just want that image to be a little bit smaller. So I don't have responsive design, but we got a home page, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of interesting. Didn't take too long for this plant application to start blossoming. Oh man, I hope people are ready for the dad jokes. But yeah, so maybe I'll wrap it up here. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll keep going. Maybe we'll build one of the pages. Yeah, you know, let's maybe just build kind of like, I'm not going to build everything, but a little bit of the sidebar. I think we could do. And what else? Maybe like one of the plant watering tip things, plant care tips. This would be kind of a fun application to build all together, you know? So we've got a home page, or at least roughly some sort of home page, which I think is so cool, to be honest. Let me just hard code a pixel value so it roughly stays the same. That's fine. That's perfect. And base button. How can I do this from the app? So the app, I guess maybe I could do React Router, but no, that's for the React Auth side of the application. Oh, I just clicked that. Click that, boom. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is from the parent, I'm gonna have state up here that tracks the page. So I'll say const page, or current page, how about that? And set current page equals use state, say home, boom. So I'm going to use this function to, basically it's going to have a few different types. It'll have like home. This obviously isn't in TypeScript, but it'll have like, you know, app home, maybe like a watering page. And basically this is going to check what page I'm on every time. And that's how we're going to navigate through the application. So I'll show you guys how I'm going to do this. I'm going to say if current page equals home and load the home page component. Who needs React Router DOM, folks? We got it right here. So what I could do is pass the set current page down into the home page. So every page should have a set current page thing. And I'll just have to customize the navigation every time. So on click function equals set current page. And I can maybe do something like this. Set current page to water, or we'll say app home page. Let's see. Sweet, so it changes the page. And we'll say app home page. Wait, what did I say it was? App. We'll say when it's the app page, we're going to be on the app. And this is where I'd put the app page. So, boom, it worked, folks. It worked. And then obviously I'll have like a go back to homepage button as well. So let's build the app home page. But we can give it a better name, something more accurate to this design. I'll just say like plant care tips. That's perfectly fine. So we kind of have like a login page or a landing page, I guess would be the home page. And then this will be plant care tips. .jsx. Export funky town. Plant care page. Oh, plant care tips. Oh, did not want that. And this will be plant care tips. And of course, I realize I spelled it type. Don't worry, we're going to be deleting that. But I do want to just show that we can now import base button into here. And we'll say text value. Say go back. Go home, right? Say on click function. We need to pass in set current page as well and import this page, plant care tips page from pages, excuse me. And boom. So we have that button that pops up on the plant care tips page. Let me just pass this prop into set current page, and I'll say set current page equals what do we say, app. And this is kind of the misnaming I'm talking about. So this is what I hate. So I'm setting the page to app, but we actually call the page plant care page. So we should be really, really congruent with whatever, if we call it home page, this should be home page, right? Like that's what I mean when I'm talking about congruence on, let's just double check. We're setting current page to, but everything should be named like literally the exact same, because then you're taking off so much work on your shoulders where you don't have to worry about plant care page should not be to plant care, it should be to the home page. But when everything's labeled the same, you can like debug in 0.2 seconds because you know where everything, well, here I have to debug, but but I just had to save. But so I can go home, I can go to the plant page. Go home, go to the plant care page. So we can enter the application, right? But again, if everything's labeled home page, right? And then I go to my pages and it's labeled home page, or if one of the pages is labeled plant care tips page, right? If we want to be like super just everything has page on it or something. But the point is like when everything across your stack is named the exact same, easy peasy lemon squeezy, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, okay, we've got our home page, that's done for now. Plant care tips, we have a layout. So the layout would not be in the page, because some people would be like, oh, let me put a sidebar here. The layout is being like, okay, we have a sidebar, we got a top bar, maybe we got a footer. Those are like layout things. I wouldn't do that in a page. You would actually do it in the router or have some sort of layout wrapper around these pages that are getting rendered. So we would actually have like a layout component, right? And based on the route we're in, we would choose the layout would actually be how you could do it is one way. But again, there's 10 different ways to do this all. But I'm definitely going to do it out here in the app, kind of like the meta, the almost highest file in the stack. So this would be my layout component, right, if you will. Maybe we'll make it a layout component in a bit. And it would have a sidebar. And we could build the sidebar here and then make it a component because I know it's going to be part of other things. Let's see, sidebar. So those are two different things. The layout is just how it's orientated, and the sidebar is a component within the layout. The router view is a component within the layout. But this would be the layout component technically. So let's see what we got here. We got that same charcoal background, which I think was on the home page. We could steal over here. Boom, bada bing. There she is. Okay, so boom. And we need min height screen. Sweet, we got ourselves a little sidebar. And we'll say flex call, because I want everything to column. And within this sidebar, say sidebar, enough hooliganry, right? Within this sidebar, we'd have our icons, right? All these guys: home, search, courses, saved, plant. So I'm gonna have home, and maybe we'll have plant. We'll knock those two out. How about that? Or is this technically the home, and this would take you back to the landing page? Is that what they're trying to entail? So, and these are UX questions. This is where you need a UX guy who's just dialed with what he does. Let's see. So this technically would be start carrying. We get to our application. All right, let's see. We're gonna build the sidebar component because we're getting to that point. Little neck itch is always good, right? Sidebar component. Okay, so export default function side. Did I capitalize the other ones? I don't remember. I did. Okay, sweet. Did I do it for base? Okay, I did. Great. Like to be consistent. Whatever. If I'm doing Pascal casing or camel casing, whatever I do, I just keep it consistent, even if it's snake casing. Me personally, I'm not super particular. Not because I don't care. It's just outside of like web compilation, I don't see the difference on certain namings and or not that I don't see the difference, but they're just placeholders, right? Like X and Y are just placeholders in math, right? And it's not that X and Y mean anything directly, but they're often used as Y is often the thing you're solving for, and X is often something you're trying to solve for, right? But history could have easily have been so that Y was the thing that we're using to solve for X, right? Typically. And sometimes you do that in math, right? Like they're interchangeable things. What's going on here? Imported base sidebar, and it's called sidebar. We'll rename it to base sidebar. Let's see if that fixes the issue. Import it as base sidebar. Export base sidebar. Is it because I did export default? Boom. There we go. Okay. But yeah, point being is like that's kind of how I see casing, and to some degree, maybe I need to read up more on it. Maybe I'm not as educated, very likely so, but I don't know. I've crossed paths with some other engineers who seem to be very particular about things in my brain that don't matter for the efficiencies of developing. Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say, where people will spend hours on naming instead of hours on like constructing or building and architecting or implementing and developing and building new products for their application or something. Again, I'm still relatively new to the environment, so it is a bold statement to say, but I have observed that where I just like don't personally see the nuances of these differences, or like why naming something across the stack the same exact thing is a bad practice. Even though I've been told it's something you shouldn't do, I've been shown by other developers not to do that, and it's still in my brain doesn't. I'll die on that molehill. I will argue to the death and die on that molehill. But to each his own, right? So here is something I'll call kind of like data-driven development or JSON-driven development, where instead of writing out all of the things that I want here, I'm going to use a loop for router links and icons, right? And basically here I'm going to build an array of all the things I need. So, and I don't know how we're going to do with the icons quite yet, but at the very least we can get the text values in there. And then I'll just loop through this array instead of building, you know what I mean? Instead of building and hard coding information. Like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? like why would I do that? So let's go ahead and get this in there. Boom, text value. Yep, that's what I wanted. And if I've done that correctly, all these things should be looped out, right? Boom. So when building an application, if I need to add more router links, boom, I just literally copy them down, change the text value, change the link path and name, right? Or we'll add a prop for that, and boom, and I've got a new link made in 2 seconds instead of hard coding it, because who does that? You know what I mean? So, boom, index. Here we go, and let's say route name, or we'll say path name rather. It's tomato. And this will be the home page. This is gonna be kind of cool. I'm gonna pass the set page into here, and actually, what do we call the plant page? I can call search page here. But I'll pass the search set current page function into the sidebar, and this should work in my brain. Plant care tips. Let's see. Boom. So every time I click on one of these, I need to change page, right? So set current page needs to go in there, and let's see if we can make this happen. Let's see. Boom, set current page. Okay, so here on click, we'll say set current page to link dot path name, right? So if I click, that's home page, but there's no home page, right? There should be. So home, that takes us home. Plant, that's this page. And if I make a search page just to drive this point home, as I click home page, pun intended, it should take us there. It should navigate us there. So let's see if this works. Search page. Actually, we won't even have a button value in this. We won't have a base button. We'll just have search page, because this will be its own page, right? We have navigation. We already have the layout device there on the left. So the only thing we need to do is just implement it into our mock shift router, which would be this guy. Technically, now that I'm looking at this, I should change this structure a little bit here, and I will import search page, and I'll do that here. Don't need that, getting passed into the search page, and this can just go to there. Boom. The reason why I did this is because the sidebar is always going to be present. It's always going to be there. So if I go to the search page, I need to be on the search page, but I'm not changing the sidebar. So this would be my layout component. This guy would be a component, and these guys would be my router view. We'll implement it down the road. Don't worry, folks. This was just a complete build on the fly. So we got back to the home page. We can go to our plant page. We can go to our search page. Plant page, search page, right? Plant page has this button in it, so we don't need that anymore. We have a router. I'll say plant page. Boom. So we got plant page, search page, home page. Just like that, folks, we're building ourselves a little application. Look at that. Look at that. P-4, give us a little space. Between these boards, we'll say MY2, give them a little bit of distance between them. Flex, say item center, so they're all centered up, or should be. Nice. I guess we could do icons and a few other things just to clean it up a bit. Cursor pointer, boom. We do the old hover, opacity, 50% trick. Boom. Search page, home page, search page, home page, plant page, boom. Plant care, nice. Look at this. We're getting some progress done, folks. So I'm going to get out of the app page and let's pull our app over. I'm going to ignore the icons because that's just going to be kind of a little bit extra to deal with right now. Exporting them and doing what we did with the images. But might as well. It's not too bad. Not too bad to do. Just trying to make it as streamlined as possible. Let's see, downloads, home. Oh, it did get exported as an SVG. So this isn't going to go in the images. We're going to build another folder called icons. Oh, nope, not in there. Not in there. Don't want it over there. We want it over here. It's always good to be organized, folks. Always good to stay organized as I'm building in the middle of another project. But it's good to stay organized. It really is. The other project is highly organized. The one I wanted to show you guys earlier, the one I need to run by the CEO, if I can share, because it is highly organized. I pride myself on doing that. So let's go ahead and export this icon as well. The leaf SVG. Boom. So we got home, icon, and what else? What else do we need here? We got the search one as well. Okay. Let's see if it pops up. Boom. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, so we got all of our icons. Let's see if... so we go to our sidebar. We can add another value here and say icon. Say import home icon from... Nope, not that far. Assets, icons, home. Will it work is the question. Will it work? Search icon, let's see. It's icon.svg. I don't know if you need to do that or not. Search icon. Import, what's the, no, we need the plant icon. Plant.svg, boom, folks. Okay, let's see. Let's see. We're getting some runtime errors. Runtime errors. Oh, leaf. Plant. Okay, we're getting no errors. Let's see if we can have this thing load these icons now. So we need to pop in the images. And what would go here is going to be our link.icon. If it were going to work. But clearly it's not working. Let's see, home icon. Do I need to wrap it in quotes? What if I just copy the path here, put it here? Would that work? Let's ask our trusty intern here. How can I make this work? is you're assigning it to the first route link icon. Use the imported icon here. Okay. See image link.icon. It doesn't look like it did anything different, but let's go ahead and try to copy it over. Sometimes that happens. No, I don't see how it's any different here, folks. I don't see how it's any different. I know. I hate always just being like Vue. I love Vue, but literally I love Vue because Vue, you can do this in Vue, and it would work. It would literally be working right now. So that is something that is interesting to me, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, so we got icon search page. Let's get rid of the icons then, if they're, or I could do this another way too. Let's see if this will work. There's always going to be some way to do it. Is it because I'm not importing the right? Oh, hold on now, folks, because this should still work. This should still at least. So I go to assets, icons, home SVG. Try to crash the server real quick and start it again. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this works. Weird. Okay, it's still not working. But how did I do it here? I literally just imported that and it worked. Can you not do that in React? Do you have to import SVGs differently? I feel like that seems silly. Base sidebar. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong here? Icon search home. Oh, is it because I'm trying to import SVGs and not putting them as SVGs, I'm putting them as images. Is that why? No, but that still would work, right? Okay, so I'm going to do it a little cheeky hardcode way, which this still should roughly work. For some reason it's not. SVG. Again, why is that not? See, it's stuff like this that Vue just has dialed, and I'm gonna hype up Vue. Either that, or I'm just not good enough at React. I'll get better at it here shortly. I know obviously React has a lot of support and font awesome, and can bust out one of the icons here, but we're spending too much time dealing with icons. So I'm gonna hop off of this until my brain naturally figures something out. Let's build. Maybe we could build one of these card components and then kind of call it quits after that. I think that would be a good just in the moment build, and I think a good starter video for just like literally base plant card tip is maybe what I'll call this, plant card tip. But I think that would be a great just starter thing of just these builds and just kind of what I want to start doing, because I really think it's fun and it's enjoyable, and yeah, and it's 100% of what I want to start constructing and recording my life. And maybe 5 years from now, I'll look back at this and be like super just cringy. I'm like, oh, dude, you didn't know anything in software, you know, talking to my younger self, right? And you know, then 5 years, maybe I'll be really, really good or something, right? So I don't know, but I do overall want to just document it where I just can watch progress and maybe record some of the projects I built, because I do kind of build a fair amount, I think. So I would like to yeah, just kind of record some of it. Let me see, import base plant, because I have a ton of ideas. I wish I could show you guys literally the amount of ideas I have. Boom, your content here. Nice. We got the beginning of the card getting planted there. I don't want absolute positioning though. I will let the parent deal with the positioning, right? So I'm gonna have like 3 of these, right? Maybe we'll have a loop that can pass in content and images. And I mean, there's kind of a few, where is it? Oh, over here. There's a few things. It's like you have a name, plant care 101, then you have like a duration, it looks like, then you have a rating, and then some sort of like action button, right? And then you also have maybe like an author, who's it by, an image, is it bookmarked? There's a fair amount of data going on with these. So let's kind of build this data out, plant care tip data. And let's just go ahead and start building it out. So we'll have title, right? Plant care 101. We'll have a duration. Looks like we'll have maybe in minutes. It's right, maybe a number. So like 97, roughly. Is that 90? No, 60 plus 53 is what? 113. Sounds roughly right. And we'll have a rating, and this will be some sort of float. 4.9, not 4.3. We got an author. Put that at the top. Maybe we'll say John for this guy's name, and it'll be maybe a category. It looks like with the watering tips or sunlight or fertilizing. I guess that looks like a category. So we'll say watering tips. And then of course we'd have some sort of image as well, but we already saw the problem with that earlier. So, and then we'll have an action button text of start, or maybe it's an action. And maybe these actions can denote different things. But so I just want to show how I'd maybe build like the data around it, because this is all going to be passed into the component. So author will say Martin for the second one. I have no idea what his real name is, of course. And then this looks like it says sunlight for the category, and plant care basics. And it looks like it's 59 minutes. Maybe it could be a string value or a number value. I'll stick to number value for now and enroll. So I'm going to use this again. This is like how I personally develop some front ends, is just kind of this like data first thing where you obviously have these components that are important, but then you also have all of the data that gets passed into the component, so that we can build these components out where, let me show you guys, where I can destructure plant care tip data, and we have it all. Oh, or in theory should have it all. Plant care tip data. oh, you know what I'll need to do is do plant care tip data dot author or something for all of them. So we have John and Martins. Missed that earlier. So we have Martin, and we'll have like the category. Boom. So the sunlight, like all this data is being passed in there, right? We'll have the title, of course. So this is the name of the thing. So John Plant Care 101, Plant Care Basics. But that's what it would look like passing the data in the parent component. Obviously, you query this from the back end, but oh, and I realize I don't need to pass this in as a prop anymore. Don't need base button. Looks like we'll be able to pass on that. But it's really clean development, as you can see. So if I need to have more of these cards, which is what this component looks like, is there's like, you know, maybe it would side scroll and there'd be like 50 of these instead of just 4. You could dummy the front end build by building out all the data points you need. So then, boom, you could literally do what you need to do as a front end engineer to build these things out, right? So there's a gap x2 maybe, something like that. Margin 4, boom, look at that. We'll do a bit more of a gap, but kind of gonna wrap it up. I think here soon. Flex call, and yeah, let me just kind of build out the bottom part of these and wrap it up. I think that's gonna be good enough for the first build, just to get some material out there for you guys and let you know a little bit what the course is going to be about. This is kind of just like a free-flowing thing. The course is a little bit more curated. It's a lot more curated, actually, where I'm like trying to design specific things, and I certainly go through it and think about it and plan it all. This was just a completely, freebie. Obviously, showing a few tips and things that I use for developing. And yeah, so we have our homepage that looks great, and obviously these other things would follow, but they all take so much, like, a little bit more time to develop. It's getting a little bit late for me. My bedtime is actually, I've got a pop-up in my phone at 8:30 every day that's like, set the thermostat low, get ready for bed. I'm a bit of an old man now, but it's 9:24, so I am past that time. I need to go, take care of my health and make sure, I'm still taking care of me and hitting my marks on my end. But I hope this was at least valuable for you guys to some degree, where, you learn how to build something a little bit more precise on like what it would look like, card-wise or button-wise and stuff. And then, here's an example of maybe a layout and with some ability to change between things and have some like watering tips and a little component here. And maybe we'll leapfrog on this tomorrow, and I'll just kind of do a part 2 and build out this plant page, because it was kind of just in the spot fun build that we had ChatGPT mock up, but I think enough material here to learn something from. So thanks for being part of the first video. Cheers.